Hey, we're official now.
We are official. I think everyone gets a little pop-up message that we're recording too. We're right at 1 o'clock. We're going to just give any remaining guests that are hoping to join us today a few more minutes.
Sounds good. How did everything go with the World Beads of Courage Day?
It's great. And we do run our campaign all month. It's a celebration all month. But Friday was our official 5th annual World Beads of Courage Day. And if you follow us on social, we did our best to keep pace with everyone that celebrated with us by sharing photos and pictures on World Beads of Courage Day. And we're so excited. This year was our first year. Every year we introduce a new bead on World Beads of Courage Day. And this was the first year that we had a stone bead. So I can't wait for all the Beads of Courage members to get a stone bead to add to their collection.
Great.
Beautiful. Bless you.
Question. Sydney has a question.
Hi, Sydney.
So she was wondering if she could show you guys her beads.
We would love
Yeah.
that as an
Yes.
introduction. Let's kick it
Jeez.
off, Sydney.
We're gonna just hold them up.
Oh my goodness.
goodness.
There we go.
Oh. Yeah, you do.
So she loved this. This was a highlight of her 100-day stay.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
God bless you.
That's so great, Sydney.
That's a lot of courage, huh?
That's
Really beautiful.
surely is courage.
Very cool.
Always an honor to us when a Beads of Courage member family join us at our event. So thank you for sharing your courage with us. And we're really proud to be part of your bead family and to support you through Beads of Courage.
Thank you.
Oh,
I'd also like to introduce Kate. She's down there somewhere on your screen. I did have her put her email in as her name, kate@beadsofcourage.org. Kate is a community engagement and special events manager. So jot down her email. If you ever have any creative ideas to support our mission, she's your go-to girl and supporting us in all the variety of ways that people want to share their talent and love for Beads of Courage.
Yes, let me know. We'll plan something.
Did you want to share your bead story?
My bead story? Yes. So I got involved with Beads of Courage because I have 3.5-year-old twins, and Cole, I have boy-girl twins. So my little boy was born with a congenital heart defect. So I learned about Beads of Courage at the NICU here in Tucson at Banner. And I just completely fell in love with it. It's so important and so special to our family. So I was able to meet Jean and I started volunteering at Beads of Courage, and I was filling orders for beads in the mail. And then a job became available, and the rest is history. It's really, really wonderful organization to be proud to be part of. I am so blessed to be a part of this.
Thank you, Kate. Great. I think we're ready to get started. Are you ready, Katie?
I'm ready. Let's do
Great.
this.
Let's do it. My name's Jean Gribben. I'm the Executive Director of Beads of Courage, and I absolutely love these virtual events. It's a great way for us to connect with our bead family and our supporters from around the United States. Anyone in the world's welcome to join these events. I trust you all received your lovely Designing with the Stars care package in the mail. Some surprises are in there. Thank you so much for your support. We have a really good exchange rate at Beads of Courage. For every $15 that we raise, that translates to 500 beads that we can provide a child receiving Beads of Courage.
oh wow.
So thank you so much. With your donation, you essentially are helping provide up to 1,500 beads. Most children receive on average 500 beads in a year, depending on their courageous journey that they're facing while receiving treatment for a serious illness. So I want everyone to just give a pat on their back, give yourself a little hug. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thanks, Dan.
It's really, really meaningful. How this is going to go down, if you haven't attended a virtual event before, we have our fabulous hostess, Katie Hacker. This is her genius child. She's been hosting these events for us both in person as well as virtually for our organization. We've raised several $1,000s, over $50,000 to be exact, over the years through our Designing with the Stars event. It makes a huge impact on our mission. I can't thank her enough. She happens to rally and rein in talent in the jewelry industry from all over. You all are going to be guests today to one of the best shows that we've had. We have 3 amazing all-star designers lined up: Jill McKay, Meredith Roddy, and Deb Flores, that are going to be showing you the tricks of the trade. They're fabulous designers. Please follow them on social. They always are presenting and sharing their creativity as fabulous designers. We're going to have raffles in between each designer. So you all have got some other surprises in your box that aren't tied to the project. So we'll walk you through that. But let's get started. I'm going to turn it over to Kate Hacker, our hostess of Designing with the Stars.
Jean, thank you. Big round of applause for Jean, founder and director of Beads of Courage. Woo! Thank you, Jean, for taking my crazy ideas and making them amazing. It's awesome. I'm glad you're all here today. And it is a really special time together. It's really about just being together, being with the designers of these cool jewelry projects that you can make in a hurry and without very many tools. I do want each of them to give a thanks to the sponsors of the projects, because we have had the materials provided to us for your kits so that we can keep the cost down and buy more beads for the bead pharmacy, which is exactly what we want to do. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our first designer, Jill McKay. Jill is, I have to say that all of these ladies are my good friends, and I'm so thankful for them to be here today. Jill has been designing jewelry making components, working with manufacturers, being her own manufacturer, being on TV, doing podcasts, doing magazine stuff. She does it all, is what I'm getting at. And Jill has a real heart for working with kids. So I know that this is special for her to be here with us. And I love this project that you made, Jill. It is gorgeous. My favorite colors. I don't know if you planned it, but thank you for that. So I'll let you take it away.
1 second, I just want to do some housekeeping for our Zoom Design with the Stars event. Katie will be monitoring the chat room. So if you wouldn't mind muting, that would be really helpful. However, we are watchdogs on that chat. So if you pop any questions in that chat, then Katie Hacker will catch them and she can ask the designer as our hostess, hey, we have a question in the chat or a comment in the chat. So I just want to throw that housekeeping out there for our virtual event. Thank you so much. Jill.
Hey, it's me, and I love you. I love everybody here. I'm so happy to be here. I've been doing the Beads of Courage thing with Katie and Jean for a very long time now, and it's my honor. And for my sponsors today, I was a sponsor. I provided the Bali beads and everything, the leather, and then Tierra Cast provided the button for our bracelet. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my hands. So let me get in the right position and hopefully, there we go. Oh, we got to get rid of the background. Hold on, I've got an issue. I got to get rid of the background blur. My apologies for the wait here.
That's okay.
Thank you. Get rid of the blur.
Yeah.
None. There we are.
Nice.
I'm back. So, all right. So here is the little bracelet. And this is 2 minutes. Let's go through what we have. This is the tool we're going to be using. It's a little piece of straw. This is 2 millimeter metallic turquoise leather. And of course, we have our Tierra Cast button. We have our beautiful sterling silver Bali beads, and then we have these different pony beads, as I call them. many different colors. So it's super easy what we're gonna do. The first thing, if you're making along here, is I'm just gonna straighten out my leather a little bit by putting it through, running it through my fingers just to get the coil out of it. Leather's a natural material, so you can warm it up and it will relax and respond, okay?
Bill, are those beads, are they like 6 or 8?
I think these are called 3/0s. 3/0s
Oh,
are,
okay.
yeah, 3/0s or 2/0s. I'm sorry, I don't have the,
No, that's okay. I was just curious. Everybody else has them in their bag.
yeah, well, that's true. All right, so I'm gonna take one end of my leather cord and I'm gonna put it, so this button has a slight bend to it and I want it facing up. So I'm gonna come from the back to the front. It's got the same pattern on each side. And then I am going to pull that till my ends are about halfway here. Match your ends up, so we're just getting to the halfway point. And then I'm going to go through and come back up. Okay. Just like that. Now I'm going to just try and match it up a little bit more. Super simple. There we go.
So you want it to be in the center, right?
You do. Wait a minute. Am I doing this right? I'm not doing this right. I'm losing my mind. It's been a little bit since I made this. So no, I want it to be, I'm so glad you said that, Katie. Because
No problem.
my goodness, I should have reviewed I do so many projects.
It's okay.
It's crazy. All right, here we go. So now what I have, let's start. We have about 5.5, 6 inches on one side and all the rest of the length. And the first thing I'm going to do is we're just going to tie an overhand knot, okay, with both strands. Okay, I'm going to put it through, put my button through, and then I'm going to move this knot way up, but I want to leave a little bit of space here between the knot and the button, because when it sets into the loop, you want it to be able to hook well. If the knot is too close, it will not. So, all right. So I'm pulling really tightly on that. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and trim off that piece. And now comes the fun part. We're gonna start stringing our beads. So I'm just gonna pick a couple at a time of the same color. And you know, one little tip that I like to talk about is I like to just trim the end that we're stringing the beads on, so it's on a diagonal and it'll go into the beads easier. So now I'm picking up a belly bead. Then I'm going to pick up 2 more. Now these are matte. These are all check glass beads, but these are matte. And so they show up, they look a little bit older, even though they're all brand new beads. See, it's just super simple. Okay, now I'm going to pick up another belly bead. So we're just going to be doing a series of 2 or 3 beads. Now I'm going to go to the transparent beads and pick up a couple of these. They're really beautiful. They go so nicely with the leather. Down it goes. Another belly bead. Super simple, easy peasy. Now I'm going to pick up 3 of the matte 2/0s. Pretty sure these are 2/0s. It's so nice because it fits over this nice 2mm leather cord. So there's 3. So here's what we've got so far. Pick up another belly spacer, and the belly spacers just make it look a little bit richer. Silver always does. Pick up 1 of the transparent, and then another. What,
I'm gonna
honey?
interrupt you for a second. We had some folks in the waiting room and didn't realize it, or they're just now getting in. So is it possible to show us how to attach the button again? Do you have
Uh,
another piece of leather? Or could we just
I could cut.
explain?
Yeah,
See if I
I'm
have
so
another
sorry
button.
about that. I thought I disabled the waiting room. I know that everyone can catch up, Jill, once you show them the button one more time, if that's possible. My sincere apologies. I thought I disabled it in the beginning, so I'm sorry for the guests that are just joining us.
Sure, no problem.
just
Well, I
click
don't
the
have the
pause button.
exact button, so
Okay,
just use this button. And
yeah.
I'll get
the
another.
same. Okay, thank you so much, Jill.
Oh, you're so welcome. And this time we can do it right. So the button has a slight concave to it. So we're coming up from the back. We want it curving upwards. We're going to get about 6 inches through the button, and then we're going to go back down with our leather, just like that. Okay. Super easy. Now we're just going to take and tie an overhand knot. So we're making a loop. We're going to bring our button through that loop. And then we're going to start to tighten it up. Right now, we don't want the knot directly up next to the button. See this amount of space here? That's what you want. Because what happens is you need some space for the female half of the closure to be able to set up under that button, so it sets so nice, just like that. Okay, so that is how you add the button on. And then let me show you how many beads we've got on so far. So we have 2 of the brighter turquoise, a bally bead. We have 2 of the matte turquoise, and then a bally bead. We have 2 of the transparent beads and a bally bead. Then we have 3 of the matte beads, bally bead. Then we have a transparent and another bally. So that is where we are at. And I'm going to keep going, or should I wait and give people a chance to catch up? Katie?
Well, I was just thinking, let's talk just for a sec while they get
Yeah,
acclimated
I'll
here.
keep this here so they can see.
Yeah, tell us, when you talk about check glass beads, I think a lot of people are familiar with either tiny seed beads or like a leaf shape or a flower shaped bead that's made in the Czech Republic.
Mhm.
And these you said are 2, like probably about size 2. So they're
2
just like a seed bead, but bigger,
They
right?
are, actually are considered a seed bead.
And then your sterling silver beads, you said those are from Bali, right?
These are from Bali.
Which I love those so much. I don't know if everybody knows that a lot of families make a particular kind of bead. So it might be a particular family that makes this style of Bali bead.
That's
And
right.
then there's another family that makes a different style of Bali bead. So this whole bracelet is really a testament to handmade
It is.
and handcrafted goods. The button is made in California by our friends at Tierra Cast, and it's made from pewter, and it requires a lot of work, to make this beautiful piece that you're using as your closure. And I'm guessing your leather is from India, is that right?
I buy from Leather Cord, but I did purchase. So yeah, I guess
So
that's.
yeah, it's from India. They have a factory there, and just make the most beautiful finishes. It's a really smooth cord with a beautiful color.
Yeah, it's a metallic turquoise. It's really pretty.
Yeah,
I
so
love
pretty.
the color. It's so pretty.
I do too. Very beachy.
Very beachy. It's got a just a little bit of shimmer to it.
Hmm.
So
You can see it. Well, I would invite anybody who just joined. If you have some questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And then Jill, if you want to show us how you finish up
Okay.
this beautiful.
All right. Well, I'm just going to keep stringing. I'm going to pick up 3 of the lighter turquoise opaque beads now. Get them on there. I'm just going to slide them down. separated by a valley bead. I'm going to pick up 2 of the transparent turquoise beads, slide them down, pick up a valley bead. Now, as we go along, you'll want to figure out how big your wrist is here. Now you can add extra beads, or you can reduce the amount of beads in order to make it fit your bracelet, your wrist, excuse me. Okay, I'm going to pick up a matte bead, another valley bead, pick up a couple. Let's just pick up a couple of the transparent beads. You know what? You could make any pattern you want, really. You don't have to follow my pattern. I should say that. I should have said that at the beginning. Another
I
valley
think you could do
bead.
any pattern with these and it would look beautiful.
Yeah, because they're all in the same color family. It all goes together so nicely. So I'm measuring mine right now, and I'm at about 6 inches. I'm going to add 2 more beads, and then because I want mine to be 7.5, well, maybe I'll add just a couple more, but be sure and wrap it around your wrist so you can tell, because our closure is going to be about 1.25 inches long. So make sure you add that on when you're measuring. If you have a ruler, that would even be great. So I'm going to pick up another mat, another valley, and another couple of these. So as you can see, you have extra beads. And I did that because we don't all have the same wrist size. Okay, so I'm at 6 inches right now. Plus 1.25 inches means I'm going to go just a tad further because I want this to fit my wrist. Okay,
And if you were making it for somebody else,
right.
7.5 is a pretty standard size, right?
Yes, it is. And if you know they have smaller wrist, all you got to do is measure from the tip once you get your button on up, and then add the 1.25 inches, and you'll know what size to make it. Okay, super simple. So, all right, now I have 6.5 inches. So that's just about perfect for me. And what we're going to do now is called a barrel bead. All right, we're going to make a loop, and we want that loop to be, like we said, about 1 inch, because we need it. What we're really trying to do is have it fit over our button, but not be too large. So just eyeball it like that. Okay, so I'm right-handed, so I'm going to take my loop on this side. And I've got my loop. The lower part, the lower strand has all the beads on it. The upper strand is the one we're going to make the knot with. This is the little, so I normally use a metal tube, but most of you won't have one of those. So I just put in every kit just a little piece of straw. You're just going to put the straw right there. Okay, and you're going to bring this around behind and up and over once. Now notice that I'm wrapping towards my thumb. Okay, so there's twice. There's 3 times. And I'm gonna take it now and put it through that straw. It just makes like a nice little channel. And pull it through, and then I'm gonna carefully take it off, but I'm holding on to my loops here. Okay. Then I'm going to just start to tighten this up very easily. Keep your loops together. And just keep tightening.
I've never used a straw for that, and it looks so much easier.
Oh,
Jeez.
it makes life so much easier.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's so much easier. Now, if you'd want to, you could take a little bit of a super glue or whatever glue that you use in your jewelry making and put it right down in there. But if you get your knot tight enough, you don't have to. So I'm really just gonna pull on this bad boy. Okay. It's together. And then I'm gonna trim it off. And guess what? That is a pretty easy bracelet to make.
Nice.
Cool. So we
I
come
love the idea of making this in different colors for friendship bracelets. That would be fun. Birthstone colors or something.
that would be really fun. Oh, look, now I don't have my blur and you can see my messy studio.
I like seeing what's going on over there. Thank you, Jill.
You're very welcome. I hope if anybody had any questions, I can still answer, but it's super simple and really quite attractive. So
Yeah, it looks really good. Can you show us the loop with the knot one more time? Do you have leather for that?
we'll go back down and do another barrel knot.
Yes, could you?
Yes, I can. One
Okay,
more.
thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. All right. So let's say that I have all my beads on here. So my beads are all right here. I'm going to go ahead and make a loop. And I want my loop to be about 1 inch. Okay. So I have my longer where all the beads are. I'm going to take, I'm just holding those two pieces together. So that shorter one is on top. And I'm going to put my straw right on top of both of those. And I'm going to take my short one and go 1, 2, and 3. And I made it too short. So because I couldn't see the beads, we're going to start.
You said that you have a metal tube that you use. You really could
Yeah.
use anything there.
You want
That's,
me to use that one? Yeah, this is the one I usually use.
yeah,
But
you could use a
this,
chopstick or something else.
well, I like
The
this
straw, because it's
yeah,
squishy.
because it's all right. So we'll make our loop. Once again, we have okay, make it so the loose tail end is on top. All the beads are right here. Made it a loop about 1 inch. I'm holding those two pieces together and I'm simply going to lay my straw right on top. Then I'm going to take my top shorter piece and come from behind and up and around. Then I'm going to go to the left of that first loop. And then again, a left. So we're working towards our thumbs there. Then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to put it right through
Oh, I see. It goes through the straw.
right through the straw.
Ooh, that's so cool. What a
Gotcha.
fun little trick of the trade.
Yeah.
Super easy. It just makes life so much easier because trying to hold those loops open is tough. So you pull the straw out and then you begin to just tighten your knot down. Just like that.
Perfect.
Wow.
Super easy. Ta-da. Okay.
Beautiful.
Kate, you have that down so you can teach that at upcoming events?
Yeah, we're ready to party over here. No, this is beautiful though. This is so pretty.
Thank you.
I
So
love it.
I love a simple project that's easy to succeed at. So
For
Thank
sure.
you so much, Jill.
you're so
Woo!
welcome. Mwah.
Round of applause, Jill. Thank you.
Woo! Great. My sincere apologies. I wasn't monitoring the chat. I thought I disabled it. So thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you, Jill, for your patience and helping our waiting room guests get caught up on your project. Thank
No
you so
problem.
much. I was hopeful of Sydney, if you're up to it. I know our waiting room guests missed your share. And that's why we're all here, is to support Beads of Courage kids with Beads of Courage. And Sydney's a Beads of Courage member that's joining us today at Design with the Stars. And she has her bead collection.
So this is Sydney's beads from the hospital. She did a 100-day stay. She just got out last week for a liver transplant. So
Wow.
and then she has here, grab these. She has a lot of the, if you want to show them these. You can tell them, this one actually, okay, here, I'll grab these from you.
They're heavy.
So she got collected a lot of other neat beads as well.
This one is from Supportive Care.
Do you want to tell them why that one's pretty special? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, so this one is special because she was at the Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh, and this one was actually designed with the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh. So
Oh
that one was done there. So that's kind of neat.
yeah.
You want to see all these? Or go through some of the special ones? Yeah,
What's
like
your
you can-
favorite one,
Oh.
Sydney? Which bead on your strand is most meaningful to you in this amazing journey you've been on?
Definitely my transplant bead.
All
Oh,
right,
wow.
I love it.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Sydney, for having the courage to share your journey with us and for joining us as a guest on Designing with the Stars. It's really special to have you.
Thank you.
We're going to do a raffle, if that's okay, Katie, before you
Yeah.
introduce our next designer.
Let's do it.
So all of you received some extra goodies in your kit. Obviously, the amazing materials you need to design with our all-star cast today. Beads of Courage also included some additional surprises for you. Everyone received our really pretty 2023 World Beads of Courage Day pendant. I'm wearing mine. This year's World Beads of Courage Day bead is the stepping stone. And we gave you 2 stone beads for the symbolism of stepping stones and how you today are helping the kids we support who must overcome obstacles every day. You're a stepping stone to the mission of Beads of Courage. One thing I want to point out about the pendant, it's a very cool pendant that our friends at Beadalon supported us with, in that the bottom actually twists off. So you can twist it off and you can make this an add-a-bead pendant. So if you wanted, for example, to take your stepping stones off and use them in a different project or in a different way, they're really beautiful to add a bead to it. So the bottom of your pendant you can twist off. In addition to that, everyone received additional bead in there. Everyone should have received the gold cardinal. This is a vintage bead. Beads of Courage. Every year we dedicate a bead to the pediatric hematology oncology nurses. September is a special month for us at Beads of Courage. It's International Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So we pulled this bead dedication bead out of our vault. We had a few left. Certain beads we dedicate, they go gold in honor of Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So you all received the gold cardinal bead as an additional gift. If you had this, you're not a raffle winner, but we hope that you'll design something very cool with the gold cardinal. However, if you did receive the Tiger Dream, you are a raffle winner. So if you had this additional Tiger Dream activity in your box, you're a raffle winner. And if you wouldn't mind dropping in the chat that you're a winner, maybe you can hold it up for Kate and I to see, and we will be sending you a raffle prize from Beads of Courage. Great. Katie, would you like to introduce our next guest?
Yes, I would. Our next guest is Meredith Roddy, and I've known Meredith for almost 20 years. And she works with Beadalon, which is a large manufacturer in the jewelry making business. And Meredith is a designer herself, and she hosts weekly and is it daily now, Meredith? Help me out.
It only feels like daily, Katie. Weekly Facebook Lives. Weekly.
Meredith is online a lot, so be sure to follow her. All of these women have cool things that they're doing online, so be sure to check them out outside of this party. But Meredith is very brave to present this macrame bracelet today, which I love. And she's going to tell you all about it, but I would like to point out that it uses recycled plastic cord. So you can imagine drinking out of a water bottle. It gets recycled into this very cool bracelet. So thank you, Meredith, very much for being here today and for volunteering with us in Lancaster too. So thanks.
It is my pleasure and my honor. Thank you so much for including me. It's such a special and meaningful organization to be a part of. And I'm so grateful to have been asked to participate in Designing with the Stars today. Thank you so much. I know, Katie, it has been a long, long time. I feel like I met you probably my first day at Beadalon. It has been
Yeah, that
quite
could
the
be true.
journey ever since. So look at how far we've come.
I know.
So again, as Katie said, I'm Meredith Roddy. I work at Beadalon and Artistic Wire, and we are a wire manufacturer here in Coatesville, Pennsylvania. We do a lot of different things, but primarily what we make is beading wire. That is not what we are using for our project today, though. Jill, I feel like we are soul sisters in our projects today. I don't know if Katie had anything to do with that. But your project and my project work in tandem. A lot of the same themes, a lot of the same ideas. So without further ado, Jean, you can go ahead and flip me down and we can get started with what we're going to be doing today. Oh, perfect. Spotlight. Excellent. So what we're going to be using for our project, what we're going to be making is an adjustable bracelet. So with this bracelet, you don't have to worry about 7.5 inches, 6 inches, whatever the size of the wrist of the person you are making it for. You don't have to worry about that because this is adjustable. I love adjustable bracelets because it takes all of that stress of how big am I going to make this away. And practically all of the bracelets that I make these days are adjustable. And as Katie mentioned, we're going to be using repeat cord. Everyone should have gotten a whole card of repeat. And this is, as Katie mentioned, 100% recycled water bottles. So I'm very proud that Beadalon was able to bring this material to market. It tells a great story and it's a wonderful way of repurposing and reusing and recycling. One of the things that I love about this material in particular, because it is plastic, you can use either a cord cutter if you happen to have a cord cutter in your stash of beading tools, or if you don't have a cord cutter, you can use a lighter to seal the ends. Very carefully, use a lighter to seal the ends. If you don't have either of those at your disposal, you can use scissors to cut it, but because of the nature of how it is woven together, it will fray a little bit. So if you're having some challenges working with this material, you can either take a little bit of glue and run that glue along the end to make it into a stiff needle. Clear nail polish will also work in a pinch. Or if you have a collapsible eye needle or a big eye needle, those are all ways that you can get your beads onto this material. So those are all the ways that you can get beads onto this material. If there's one that I missed, Katie, please feel free to help give some tips and tricks on working with the repeat cord. But what I'm going to be doing is also using a beading awl. If you don't have a beading awl, a pen will work, a knitting needle. What this is going to do is to allow us to get our knots up nice and tight to the beads. And then of course, there are beads that were also included in your kits. Mine are different colors that I'm working with today. The ones in the kit are those really cool, vibrant purples and blues and magentas and silvers. And I invite you to create your own pattern with those beads that were included. I just happen to be working with different beads, same size holes today. And I have to thank from the bottom of my heart, my friend Avatal from Beadmaster USA, who provided the beads for us for the kits today. This is a wonderful community that we are a part of, and the companies in the community are wonderfully generous, but it's really the people that make being a part of the beading community such a wonderful place to be. And so I'm very, very grateful for the generous donation of Beadmaster USA, and then also, of course, from Beadalon, my company, who gave the repeat jewelry cord. So without further ado, let's get started. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take that repeat cord, and when you take the packaging off, just a cute little note. This is one of my favorite things that I like to point out about the repeat cord. This is actually a little baggie with a sticky part here. So if you have extra findings or extra beads or extra somethings, this isn't just garbage to throw away. We can actually reuse this into something that is that's helpful in our daily lives and in our studios as well. Or like me, you can put it back on to protect the thread. All right, so I'm going to measure out about 14 inches. That's kind of the sweet spot to this project. It means I don't have to do any more cutting after I measure that out for me. So I'm just taking my fun ruler down here and doing 12 inches and then another 2 for 14 inches, just loosely holding my finger here. This is not, we're not rocket science in the jewelry industry. We like to kind of, what is the word that I'm looking for? We do approximations often when we are doing our measuring. But here I've got my piece of repeat cord 14 inches long, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to thread on 10 beads. You could do 12 beads, you could do 8 beads, you could do 30 beads if you had some extra beads. I've just kind of grabbed these guys that I knew would be of a similar size to what was included in your kit. So you can do a pattern of 2 of these, you can do 1 bead in one color, 1 bead another color, you could do color blocking. That I am leaving up to your creative inspiration. So what do I have here? Do I have 10 yet? Yep, I have 10 beads here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And all I'm going to do is bring both of those ends together with those beads captured there. And on one side, if you want to go right side first, that's okay. Left side first, also okay. I'm going to tie a double overhand knot. So I'm making a loop and I'm pulling my tail through that loop once, but not just once. I'm going to go through twice. And the reason why I'm going through twice is because these beads have great big holes, right? And their great big holes are fantastic because it makes it a lot easier to thread them onto this 1 millimeter cord. But it also makes it so that if I did just a single knot here, the tendency for these beads to slide back over, pretty great. So we're gonna hold those beads with a nice tight double overhand knot. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do that same thing over here on this side. So I'm making a loop. I'm going around once. I'm going around twice. And this is where that awl comes in handy. Do you really need the awl? Let me get some of this background out of the way so we can see what's going on a little bit better. It's just one of those tools that makes our lives as beaders easier, and that's why I like using it. Just gonna poke it in here and tighten this up. Now, this doesn't have to be as tight as, I don't know what a tight thing is, but it doesn't have to be that tight. If there's some wiggle room in here, that's actually even better. Because it allows for some movement of the bracelet on your wrist. But 1 knot here on one side, 1 knot here on the other side, and we're almost done. Now what I'm going to do is lay this down on my bead mat, and I realized that I meant to pick the darker color to work with because we can't see that on the white background nearly as well. So I'm just gonna fold that up and we're going to work on the blue background.
Oh my goodness, you're Superman over there.
You'd think that I planned it that way, right, Katie?
That's
Let me
so
just put this out of the way.
That's so clever.
I was like, wait, I can't see what's going on. All right, so one more step, what I'm going to do, and when I make these bracelets, I generally do, I call them little dangle-doos on the ends. You do not have to do this step. I think I have one here that doesn't have a dangle-do. I do not have one that doesn't have a dangle-do. I like having these little beads on the end, even if they're not matching, right? We don't have to be matchy match. But if you prefer not to have those little extra beads there, that's okay too. Sometimes I offer too many options, I feel like, for projects, but I like to just put them out there. So I'm going to go ahead and just string 1 bead on this time. So I have my 10 beads here, my 2 knots, and now I'm working on my tails. And I'm going to go ahead and tie that exact same overhand knot, let me rephrase that exact same double overhand knot on each of the ends. So I've got make my loop and come around once and then around twice and pull that nice and tight. And I usually leave about a 1/2 of an inch here. I generally will come back and trim that, but it's easier to do the project when I have a little bit of slack. I know that Jill, when she was doing her knots, she left herself a good amount of slack, and it really helps just to make beading more enjoyable, I think, instead of trying to get it all the way up to the little end there. If you need to cut off a little bit, that's okay. So I put my second dangle bead on, and I'm going to go ahead and make that loop. I'm going to come through once. I'm going to come through twice and make that little knot on the end. But what I need to make sure now is that both of my dangle beads are up against those knots, because now what I'm going to do is create this adjustable macrame knotted piece in between my in between my beads, and also capturing those dangle beads in place. Wow, that's a lot to remember. It really isn't, because what we're going to do is we're going to move those 2 beads down toward the knots, and I'm going to take one, and I'm going to take the one on the bottom, and I'm going to put it so it's facing up to the top. I'm going to take the one on the top, and I'm going to face it toward the bottom. So we have, what is this? It's kind of like an O, maybe a reverse D, uppercase, I don't know, this shape. And I try not to have my material crossing each other. I want my threads, my repeat cords, to be lying next to each other, just like this. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a contrasting color to make my knots, but you will just cut another piece of your repeat cord about, say, 12 inches, just to make our lives easier. You don't need 12 full inches, but again, especially if you've never done this before, having a little extra slack really makes life a lot easier in all different kinds of beading, and really in general in life too. It's always good to have somebody cut you a little slack. All right, so now I am going to tie an overhand knot, just like I was going to tie my shoes. So I'm going to take my right hand side here. It's funny when you start overthinking and breaking down knots, how much more complicated it sounds, but just like you're going to tie your shoes. So overhand knot here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate right, left, with making what is called a square knot. And I'm going to try to get down nice and tight and close so we can really see what's going on, but I need to back it up just a little bit to give my fingers some room to move. So I'm going to make a triangle. Some people call this a P or maybe a sail, however your brain works to see what this is, over the 2 middle cords. So you can see I have my loop coming around and it's laying over here and over those 2 middle cords. Now I'm going to take the left-hand side, and that left-hand side is going to come down from the bottom left quadrant underneath all of those cords and through that circle. Okay. If you've never done this before, it might take a couple times to get it quite perfect. But if you've ever done macrame, you're like, oh, that's a square knot. I got that, Meredith. No problem. So now I'm going to go ahead. I did my right hand side. Now I've got to do my left. You want to always keep it even. My left hand side, I'm going to make a Q, a reverse size loop, any way you want to wrap your brain around it. And now I'm going to take my thread from the bottom right quadrant underneath all of those cords and through the top left quadrant. So I'm making a pretzel. I'm going to tie that nice and tight. And I just kind of pull everything. If things get a little wonky or snap out of place, I just kind of make sure that everything is going where I need it and want it to go. So I'm just going to repeat those 2 steps 2 more times. So I make my little loop over here. I'm going to take my left-hand side now. I'm going to come underneath all of those cords from the bottom left-hand side through that middle to the top right-hand side and pull tight. Now, I don't want to pull so tight that that it's impossible to slide this, but I also am not doing it loose. So it's a little bit of kind of finding that sweet spot of tension when you're doing this project. But you can kind of feel as you're doing it, you're going to feel where that cord comfortably stops, and it's not going to bounce back. It's not going to slide around. It's not going to go out of whack. And that's how you know that your knots are the right tightness. So one last time here, I'm making my loop over here. I'm going to come with my tail. I'm going to come from the bottom right. I'm sorry, the bottom left underneath. Of course, I didn't leave myself enough slack either, right? The bottom left underneath all of those cords through that side and pull tight. I'm going to do one more on my left-hand side from the bottom underneath all of the cords. And if you don't capture all the cords, you'll know, because as you're going, it's just going to kind of come up toward you, and it won't be hugging all of the cords and keeping them all together. So you'll know, and you can just go ahead with either an awl or a knitting needle or a needle or something to undo those knots. And this is where the cord cutter really, really, really comes in handy. So because this is
Hey,
plastic.
Sarah, sorry. Wait, before you cut that off,
Shoot.
will you show us how to do the first knot? I don't know if you can show us on a different cord. Just I think the knot you use to tie your shoe is a really good way of explaining it, because it's basically a half knot.
Yeah,
but
just an overhand knot.
capturing
Yeah, that's not a
everything.
problem. Here,
Okay,
I will
thank you.
let me just take another cord here and show. So we're just gonna kind of pretend like nothing's going,
Okay.
nothing to see here, nothing's
Thank
going on up
you.
here. Just bring your the cord that you're using to make your sliding clasp underneath those two cords, and like you said, Katie, the best way I can describe it is if you were going to tie your shoe, just an overhand knot. So I'll break it down as slowly as I possibly can. Here's my left side, here's my right side. I'm going to take my right side over my left side, around and through the middle, and pull it tight. And then I'm going to go on that left side one more time. I'm going to come and make that circle,
You're gonna
or that
complete the
sail,
square
or that
with this?
P, or however you describe it. Katie, how do you call this? Do you call it the P, or do you call it the circle? Do you call it the sail? What do you call it?
I think I call it the loop.
The loop. Okay. And the important thing here is I'm going to come underneath. See if I can get that to stay nice and stationary. I'm going to come underneath, and you can see, all right, so I have 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mhm.
I'm going to take it from the third quadrant underneath everything through that loop, making a kind of a pretzel is what it looks like to me, and then pulling
I'll
it
see
tight.
if I can find an illustration, a good illustration of that, and put it in the chat, because it is kind of hard to see from afar. But I think once you get going with the square knots, it really does lay in a kind of, it really does look even on both sides, so you know if you're doing it right.
Correct.
Thanks for pausing.
And it's also
sorry to jump in there. Thank you.
One of the limitations of working on Zoom is being able to get close enough to the camera without bumping it. So let me see if I can let me hold it up as this close, and I'll do one more knot, and maybe you can really see what's going on there. Is that a little bit better, Katie?
Yeah, I can see
Yeah, it
that.
looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
The loop.
You have great nails too.
Yeah, I love that color.
Thanks, Jean. And then I'm going to come around, and so all of the cords are being captured. This is when things start getting fiddly.
Because they're so short.
Because they're so short, and also because I'm holding it upright, I find it a lot
Mhm.
easier to do this
There you go. You got
when
this.
it's
You got
down.
this. Nice.
So hopefully that helps a little bit, just seeing where that thread path is. And I'll show
Mhm.
it one more time on the other side. So it's around everything and through. All right, we're good.
That was great. Thank you so much.
Okay. That was the fun part. We get to burn things.
Yay.
So just real gentle. I come in here with my cord cutter. If you have a cord cutter, awesome. You can do this with a needle, or you can also do this with scissors. But if you do it with scissors, I definitely recommend using a little bit of glue to my cord cutters. Why aren't you working? I just put fresh batteries in you. Oh, there we go. And then I just kind of rub it down a little bit to melt that cord into itself. And now that's not going anywhere. I'm going to come around and do it on this side also. Just cut that off, melt that in just a little bit. And I don't want to melt it so much that it cuts through where I don't want it to cut through. And then I like to come in here too and just give these guys a little trimmy trim. On one side, see, I'm super close to the camera now. And on this side. And then the way that this guy works is you can pull the cords from the beads here and from the long part of the cords here so that you can put it on. And then the way that I like to tighten it is I kind of hold this bead with my middle finger and then pull over here and kind of do like a little bit of adjusties on both sides to make it as comfortable as possible. And then you don't have to worry, again, like I said in the very beginning, you don't have to worry about the sizing because you have an adjustable bracelet. So if someone has a slightly different size, or maybe it's a hot day, you're feeling a little bloated, you can have a comfortable bracelet to wear. So that's the project for today. Thanks
Thank you
guys so
so
much for
much.
your attention and for
Meredith.
hanging out, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Meredith. Those are so fun.
Yeah, I love it. And I think just learning that skill, that adjustable bracelet, you can do anything with that skill set. I also wanted to thank Meredith and Beadalon. All of you received a toolkit from Beadalon in your kit. Wow, what a generous gift for everybody to have that set of tools for you to work with. So thank you again, Meredith and Beadalon, for your years of supporting the mission of Beads of Courage.
We are happy and honored to be able to do it.
Love it. Katie, do you want to introduce our next guest? Back to Katie.
I would love to. Oh, are you doing a raffle between those folks, Jean? Are you passing over anybody? Just making sure.
It was the Tiger Dream was our
Gotcha. Okay.
raffle winner for those that received it. But if you wouldn't mind, I would love to just take a moment. I'll take one moment here to just share the Carry Bead program. I always forget to talk about it, but everyone gets a Carry Bead kit in their Design with the Stars. And I just want to share this program. It's very special to us at Beads of Courage in that every person who carries a bead, the instructions will inform you. We invite you to return one of the beads. So all of you received a Carry Bead kit. You eventually receive a match bead set. The instructions will inform you one bead we want you to keep. I personally believe that energetically matches you with the child that will receive the other bead that you carry in their honor. So within the kit, there's a little story card, and that's where you can write some words of encouragement, maybe share where you carried the bead in their honor, and you personally sign it, and you just mail one bead back to us with the signed note of encouragement. We then distribute them randomly in Beads of Courage. Our Carry Bead beads are very important to us. They're beads that we need. They're beads that become what are known as active courage beads, which are beads that are given on especially potentially tough treatment days or days something really big happened, and it equips that frontline nurse and that child life specialist with a really special bead to give. For me, as a nursing scientist, I love it because it brings human caring right next to the bedside, reminds that child they're not alone in their fight for life, that someone that they may never meet carried a bead in their honor, and it can really encourage them and their family as they go through that journey. So I hope that you'll all take time. I personally would love it if everyone that received the Carry Bead as part of Design with the Stars would maybe take it to a beautiful place in your community, a park, maybe there's a creek, a lake, a mountain. Snap a photo. You can text that photo to us very easily. I'll drop this in the chat, but essentially if you text to our number, which is 520-366-3431, and I'll put it in the chat. You text CAB for Carry Bead, you will immediately get a notification back from Beads of Courage that says, where are you at? And share a photo with us, even a video. Keep in mind the kids we support are hospitalized for periods on end, long days, held hostage. As Sydney shared with you, she's just finally getting home after a 100-day hospital stay after a liver transplant. So just keep that in mind, that they're in a hostage situation. They have to be there for their health and wellness and get better, but we can bring the beauty of nature and provide sensory relief to them through our Carry Bead program. So please do take time to do that and bring your healing energy and positive intentions to the kids we support. Thank you so much, Katie.
Awesome. Carry a bead, one of my favorite programs. I've carried a lot of beads, and I will say that I'm very happy that the children on the other end of it get to receive the bead. But for me, a big part of it is encouraging myself to do something sometimes, like a run, a hike, a trip, or whatever. And so when I look at the beads, I know that it's not just for me, which I think is cool, that that's also part of their experience, is that they know the beads aren't just for them, that someone else is on the other end of that. So I would definitely encourage you guys to participate. And it doesn't have to be a big adventure. It could just be someplace in your neighborhood. I like to include a picture of my dog. So, you know, just things that, things that are fun to share. These, I don't know if you can see, some of these are the beads that I've carried. This one, that one, this one, the glass ones, that one right there. I have this one right now waiting to send back its mate. So it's a fun project to do. All right. So Deb Floros, thank you for being here today. Deb has been a big supporter of Beads of Courage over the years and an amazing designer. And Deb, I feel like you, you kind of made jewelry for fun for a while, and then all of a sudden girlfriend turned pro, which I love to see. So fun, so fun. So thank you for being with us here. And I want to encourage everybody to follow you, Deb Loves Jewelry Designs, right, on Etsy and Facebook and TikTok and everywhere. So that is very awesome. Yeah. So thanks for being with us today. And I'm excited about these earrings. We started this project, this whole Designing with the Stars originally was a bracelet party, and people would make a stack of bracelets and leave with a stack of bracelets. But I gotta say, it's nice to see some earrings here in the mix. And one thing I did want to point out, if somebody doesn't want to wear these as earrings, they would make beautiful pendants.
Agreed.
So, great idea.
Agreed.
Glad
Thank
you're
you so much for having me, Katie, and having me back. I've done this a few times now, and it means so much to me to help the kids. So I'm excited to be here.
Thank you.
So I have these earrings. Jean, do you want to switch me down to my hand cam?
Yes, give me 1 second here.
And I'm gonna take care of muting and unmuting myself. So let me get unmuted over here. And can you guys hear me? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, there's a little bit of an echo.
Deb, you probably want to keep your sound on your phone and turn it off on your computer. That's usually how I have to do it.
While Deb's getting situated, I will just share that those beads are from Jesse James Beads. And Jesse James has been a big supporter of Beads of Courage too, especially these jewelry making parties that we do. One thing that I love about them always is the color palette. So I think these are really fun. This is a great collection.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
sounds good.
Great. Yeah. So thank you for that, guys. So these are beads from Jesse James Beads. This mix is called Sunset Goddess. It is a beautiful collection. I think this color palette is great for the summer, the spring, the fall, and dare you wear it in the winter, you definitely could. So these are from Jesse James Beads, and the memory wire that we're going to use and the ear wires that we're going to use are from Beadalon. Thank you, Meredith. So I'm going to start by getting these guys out of the way. And you have one coil of the wire in your kit, but I'm going to show you how to cut that. One of the things about memory wire, this wire is rigid and not like craft wire that you might be more familiar with. So you will want cutters like this and not cutters like this. This is a no-no to use on memory wires. So please use memory wire cutters because they're going to help you maintain your other cutters. So you've got like a coil and a half of memory wire, and see how this wire just holds its shape. That's how it gets the name. It remembers what it's supposed to do. And what I like to do to cut a coil and a half into two is just kind of take a look at it, and I see my midpoint about here. So I'm going to cut that. And now I've got two pieces, and they're probably not exact. Wow, they actually are almost exact. Okay, that almost never happens. So must be the power of the kids working with me today. So these are the two coils that you'll want to work with. And let me show you, I like to use these bail making pliers. They have a small barrel, but you could also use round nose pliers if you've got those. So they both work. You'll just want to remember where you put your wires so that you can get your loops at either end the same. So let me pull this up here. We're going to make a loop at this end. We're going to add beads, and then we're going to make a loop at this end, but it's going to be a little bit different. So let me show you the first coil. I always kind of work making the right loop first. So our first loop is going to coil around this way so that the whole of the loop is facing us. So I'm going to take my pliers, and I'm going to make sure, I don't know if I'm going to get it to focus well enough there, but I'm going to make sure that the tip of the wire doesn't come through those two barrels. And then I'm going to turn the wire back, and you see I have a little bit of a coil there, and it should be facing you.
So Deb, you want the loop to be facing back along the outside of the original.
Yeah, it's coiling around and touching the wire on, it's touching the wire here. So I can't get the focus right there, but it's coiling around this way.
Okay, so just not facing in toward the inner part of the loop.
Right. So then what we're going to do is take the beads. So the great thing about this bead mix is you can put the beads on however you would like. There's a little bit of metal, there's a little bit of glass, there's some really fun little tassels. So you can do whatever you'd like, and you can make several pairs of earrings with this kit. I'm going to make the ones that that I made for the class and show you how I did that. So I always kind of pull an example aside so I can follow my lead here. So I'm going to take one of those cute little pearls. And then these little rhinestone beads actually have a hole that you should be able to see, although it looks like there's holes throughout the bead. Then we've got these pink bicones. And then this really fun, almost mustard shaded crystal. That's going to go on. And then these are really fun. They're like little, almost like little lotus flowers. They're flat on one side and sort of have a carved flower appearance on the other. And I want the carved appearance to go towards the center. So I'm going to string it on flat end first. Then I really love these adorable little floral tassels. They just are so adorable. So I'm going to put that in as our focal of our earring. Then this guy, this little flower is going to go on the other side. So it's kind of making a little frame for that tassel. And we're going to take our mustard bead, our beautiful bicone pink bead, and the little rhinestone bead, and the little faux pearl. These colors are so beautiful together. So that's our,
I've been looking at the Pantone colors for winter, and they're surprisingly bright like this.
yeah, I think we all need like a little brightness and a little bit of floral. So go on with your bad self and wear this all winter long. Seriously, why not? So, okay, so we've got our first loop done. Now we need a second loop. Now, this one is going to be a little bit different. We want the goal end game is to have these two loops up top connect. So if we actually did two loops the same way, this earring would be very wonky and would not connect well. So we want to create a loop that actually kind of goes backwards. So this one's going this way and the loop is facing us, but we want the loop to be facing this way. So we won't see the loop when we look at it this way. So we're going to curl it backwards.
Deb, your other earring sample, does it do the same kind of looping? Can you show us?
Yeah. In fact, let me just take the ear wire off and that will help to what it looks like better. Great idea, Katie. I can get that off of there. All right, come off of there, buddy. Okay, so this loop and this loop are different. So this is the one we did on the side. And then, gosh, I wish this would focus better. So it's just going to loop around into that other loop that we created.
Okay.
So I'll show you how you do it. So we're going to take our pliers, our little bail making pliers, and we're going to put that plier just so that you can see the tip in between the two barrels. And we're going to bend it back. You know what? I messed up that loop. Dagnabbit. This is why I have these guys. Well, that's a really big loop. Let's see if I can remedy that.
It's actually really easy for us to see that way.
Okay, happy accident.
Yeah.
So see how we've got one that the loop is actually facing kind of up and down, and this is facing us. So what we want to do is take this loop and put it into this other loop. like that. And then I like to have a pair of coated pliers. So these are flat nose pliers. You can use chain nose pliers or other kinds of pliers. I like to have one set of pliers with a coating. So this is Tool Magic. It's a product you can buy. You dip your tool into it and it coats it with a little bit of silicone. And I like to have a little bit of leverage when I've got wire like this, because it's so tricky and it's so rigid. And when you have a little bit of Tool Magic on there, you can get a better grip on it. It's not necessary, but it helps me. So that's what your little top portion looks like. And then we just need to attach an ear wire to make this an actual earring. And I love the idea, Katie, of this being a pendant as well. This is a big hoop. That's another point. If you want to make a smaller hoop, these, my sample are a little bit smaller because I cut my pieces of wire a little bit shorter. This is almost a pendant size here, but you can take your ear wire and drop that in. And then I'm just going to adjust my ear wire a little bit. And you have a
Beautiful.
really fun festive earring.
Love it. Very
Here's
cool. And
the
what
smaller.
my little joke about earrings that are really big, Deb, is that you know, they could always be Christmas ornaments.
Yes, absolutely. And these are so easy to make, so fast to make, that you could take a coil of memory wire and make a whole bunch of them for gifts for the holidays, or a bunch of Christmas ornaments.
Mhm. These are great. Thank you.
I love
You
it.
guys. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love that. It's so inspiring, all the different projects. Were there
Lots
any-
of ideas to blend into your jewelry making for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I love it so much. Any final comments from our designers?
No, just thank you for having me with you and to be a very small part of all the wonderful work. And Sydney, thank you for your courage and inspiration. And Katie, I love you.
Oh, thanks, Jill.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the kids that came today. Sydney, thank you for sharing your beads. Katie and Jean, thank you for having me. And I'm so excited to be with Meredith and Jill, lovely ladies.
This is the powerhouse team right here, folks.
What amazing company. I'm so grateful to be a part of all of this. And again, to reiterate what Deb and Jill said, I mean, it's an amazing organization that you've created, Jean and Katie, and the whole team who works along with you. And it's so wonderful to hear the courage and courageous story of Sydney, because that's why we're doing what we're doing, why we're here to help out with the fundraising efforts. And I'm so pleased and grateful to be able to help.
Thank you so much. Katie, did you want to announce, I know we have a Designing with the Stars in-person opportunity at Bead Fest in Mesa.
Yes, we do. It is the Friday, October 27th.
Yes.
In the evening from 6 to 9. Would love for any of you Arizona folks or non-Arizona folks to join us. You can get your tickets on the Bead Fest website, or you can contact me and I can help you get situated. We'd love to have you there. And then we are cooking up some plans for Tucson in February, gem show time, end of January, beginning of February. So we'll be sending out a message about that too.
Thank you. February is a great time for any of you that maybe are in areas where it snows in the winter. February is a great time to come visit Beads of Courage in sunny Tucson, Arizona, and participate in the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show. Obviously, you support Design with the Stars as an event of choice for Beads of Courage because you like to design. Well, it's a special treat to be in Tucson during that time frame. So we welcome you to always come visit us during that time. Well, thank you, everybody. I think it's been a great show. I want to remind everyone that has participated all year long. You will be receiving an official Design with the Stars t-shirt. So those of you that have attended every event and support us every event this year with Katie Hacker and friends, you will get a custom Design with the Stars t-shirt with our gratitude for your year-long support. Thank you all so much. It was
Thank
great.
you.
Have a great afternoon and evening for our East Coasters.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
So nice.